All right, this is Miss Eimel. I'm going to go through the order of operations escape room, just kind of help you through some of the problems. I'm not going to solve all of them. I do want to go through some of them, though, to help you understand how to do this. So, excuse me, I printed out the form. So this is in paper form, so you're just going to put your email, your S number at RUSD. This is the information. I read through this yesterday. No need to go through it again. Same with this. This is about the suspect. And this is the message. When you're at this point, you're going to choose one of these ovals, and then your security clearance code is just going to be PEMDAS, also known as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, also known as parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract, the order of operations. All right, this next section is just another bit of information. Skip through that. All right, this is where people were really starting to struggle. This is what I said yesterday is a lot like the glyphs that we did with the hamburgers, fries, and sodas that you had to put in the amount for those. So I'm going to run through just a couple of these problems to show you. So for the first one, it is y2 minus x3 when x equals 2 and y equals 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and slide it into where this x is, and I'm going to take this and put this where the y is. So now my new equation is going to be 4 squared minus 2 to the third. Now, if you remember when we talked about exponents, you're taking this base number, that's what that's called, is a base number, times itself, however many times are in the exponent. So for this one, I'm going to take 4 times 4, and for this one, I'm going to take 2 times 2 times 2. So 4 times 4 is going to be 16. I drop down my subtraction. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So I end up at 16 minus 8, which equals 8. So back to this first thing, what you're going to put in is an 8. Now the second one is x to the first plus x to the third minus y squared when x equals 3 and y equals 5. Same thing, I'm going to put in the x here and here. So now I have 3 to the first plus 3 to the third. And this y is going to just go right there, 5 squared. Now, we talked about an exponent of 1 on Monday. And so when you have an exponent of 1, it's just going to be whatever your base number is. So this is just going to be 3. I'm going to take this 3 times 3 times 3, and I'm going to take this 5 times 5 because there's a 2. So again, bring this down. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, minus 5 times 5 is 25. Follow my order of operations. I do this first. 3 plus 27 is going to be 30, minus 25, that gives me 5. So my second number is a 5. I'm going to let you try and figure out the last one. That's pretty easy. It's just when x equals 6, and so we have 6 to the fourth divided by 6 to the third. So I'll let you go on and figure that part out. Moving ahead, we have to figure out a password. So this is going to get a little tricky because there's a lot of problems. So I'm going to run through a few of them with you. Again, I don't want to do all of them for you. I just want to do enough that you're getting a good idea of how to solve these. So something that's going to help is there's that that Google slide that I also shared, and it had the alphabet on it with all those boxes. For this, you're going to need to have the alphabet in reverse. So I'm going to just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right, so I have my alphabet. I'm going to put it in reverse. So A would be 26, 25 for B, 24 for C, and so on. So putting that into that Google slide would be really beneficial for you to have. It's hard to do that and talk at the same time. You lose your place easily. All right, so now I have my alphabet figured out. I can use that for these. So what you're doing on this section is trying to find the password. So I am going to do a couple of these problems to help explain how to solve them. So for this first one, I have parentheses 6 to the third minus 3 to the fourth divided by parentheses 9 minus 2 squared minus 4. So I don't have to fill anything in. It's all there. I just have to follow my order of operations. So my first order would be parentheses. I'm going to focus on these two parentheses. In those parentheses, I have some exponents, so I need to solve those first. So this is going to be 6 times 6 times 6. This is going to be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And I'll come back to this one in a second. 6 times 6 is 36 times 6 is 216. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3, I'm using a calculator to do this, which you can as well, is 81. So I would take 216 minus 81. It's in parentheses, so I'm going to leave it in parentheses until I solve it. And I'm going to drop down this division. So this next one, I just need to figure out 2 times 2. That's easy. It's 4. So again, keep my parentheses and just bring this guy down. Now I'm going to subtract 216 minus 81, and I get 135. And 9 minus 4 is 5. So now I have division and subtraction. Division comes before that, so I'm going to take 135 divided by 5, and I get 27 minus 4 with the answer of 23. Now, to figure out the first letter, if I can grab this, I'm going to find where 23 is. It's right here with the D. The letter D goes there. I can move on to the next problem. The next one is going to involve fractions. So let me write it out. 3/4 parentheses 3 to the third minus 3. So I'm going to ignore my 3/4 for right now and just bring it down because I have some parentheses and exponents to figure out first. So 3 to the third is 3 times 3 times 3, which I did up here, sort of. I did 3 times 3 for 9 times 3 for 27, so I'm just going to use that again. I don't even have to figure anything out. Now I have my parentheses. I'm going to keep my 3/4, and I'm going to change this to a times. And I have 27 minus 3, which is 24. And I put this line under because I need to turn this 24 into a fraction. And if you think all the way back to when we did fraction operations, that fraction goes over 1. Multiply straight across. I get 3 times 24, which is 72. 4 times 1 is 4. Now I have an improper fraction, or if you think about it, it's a division problem. So I'm going to take 72 divided by 4, and I end up with 18. Looking back at my list of numbers and letters, 18 is right here. The next letter is an I. I'm going to do one more problem on this page, just because it has brackets and I feel like it's good for you to know what that means. So I'm going to turn this and I'm going to write it this way, save some paper. So I have bracket with a parentheses, 5 plus 3 squared minus 4 squared divided by 2, bracket, and divided by 7. So brackets go along with parentheses. They're kind of the same. A bracket is used when you have a parentheses within that main equation plus something extra. So I have to do everything inside these brackets first. So I'm going to start with the parentheses in the bracket because order of operations still matter. So I'm going to keep my bracket and do 5 plus 3, which is 8. Keep this square, minus 4 squared, divided by 2, bracket, divided by 7. All right, now I have some exponents inside the brackets that I'm going to do. 8 to the second is just 8 times 8. 4 to the second is 4 times 4. So now I have 64, keep my bracket, minus 16 divided by 2, divided by 7. All right, so order of operations. The subtraction is written before the division, but if I think about PEMDAS, division comes before subtraction. So I'm going to do this division part first right here. So I'm going to keep 64 minus, and then I'm going to do 16 divided by 2, which is 8. 64 minus 8 is 56. Divided by 7, my answer is 8. So I look back, I find my 8. It's right here. Next letter is an S. So that's all I'm going to do for that section. So you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to do. It's really not that difficult. You just have to remember the different fraction operations and knowing the order. So I'm going to let you do that the rest of that on your own. Moving on. All right, so I've got 3 million followers on Philingram. That's what that's telling me. This has a bunch of different problems included, so you have to solve. And on this one, you're just, again, trying to figure out, using order of operations, what all of this means. So this first one, let me get another piece of paper. It says I have 0.01 to the third times $53,000 in the bank. So I'm going to rewrite that. 0.1 to the third and 53,000. So I'm going to figure this out first. So I'm going to take 0.1 times 0.1 times 0.1. And when I do that, I get 0.001 times 53,000. And when I do that, I get 53. So the answer for the first number in this combination, this is also attached to it, sorry. This first number is going to be 53. And then it goes on, you have to solve the other two. So this one includes brackets. You have to figure out the number that's missing. Well, I'll go through this one, and then you can do this one on your own. All right, so bracket 2/5, 8 plus 2 times 6 divided by 2 minus, we don't know, equals 88. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing this parentheses. Keep my 2/5, keep this bracket because I have to add. I'm going to start with the multiplying. 2 times 6 is 12. It takes a long time because you have to keep your writing stuff, but that's okay. All right, 2/5 times 8 plus 12 is 20. divided by 2 minus we don't know equals 88. All right, now I have to multiply another fraction with a whole number, so I'm going to put that 20 over 1. So 2/5 times 20 over 1 is 40 over 5. When I divide that, I get 8 divided by 2 minus we don't know equals 88. 8 divided by 2 is 4 minus I'm not sure equals 88. And so with this, did I write that down? Oh, I apologize. It's not minus, it's times. That's why it's not coming out correctly for me. All right, so now, because this is like this, I'm going to rewrite it like this. I'm going to fill this in as an x. So it could look like this, or if you see, you're going to see this when we get to our one-step equations in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be 4x equals 88. So this means they're being multiplied together. When that's happening, you have to get this x all by itself. And so you're going to divide by whatever's attached to it on both sides. So x is going to equal 22. So the next number in this safe is 22. All right, let's look at the next part. All right, so this is going to require you trying these out. I'm not going to go through these, but you have to try them all out and see which one of these is correct. Some of them, it might only take one try. A couple of them, it might take 3 tries. I don't know. It depends on whatever the answer is. So there's 3 that are like that. So you're going to solve those on your own. For this one, they did it for you. So you just have to kind of look at what's left and put that in. And then there's a whole thing with shapeshift, like a shift cipher. I keep wanting to say shapeshifter like in Harry Potter, but that's not it. So we'll talk about this in class tomorrow. It's going to take some time to explain that. But that's the basics of the escape room activity. If you have further questions, just ask. I'm happy to answer them. And we'll go over more tomorrow. So have a great rest of the day, and I will see you then.